Texas Education Agency is the overseer, the regulator for school districts across the state. And lately, Fort Worth, Houston, they've been taking over districts because those districts have had a handful of failing campuses.
And nothing strikes fear at a school district more than to hear those two words,
Sure.
State takeover. And they can do it, if you're not familiar with this here in Texas, they can do it if just one school in an entire district, you can have a district the size of Houston, the biggest district in the state, and one school, if it receives a failing accountability grade 5 years in a row, the state can swoop in and take over, and it's open-ended.
The entire district, not just that school, but the entire district.
The whole district.
That's what's happening.
They can replace the superintendent. They can replace the board. They can come in and say, from now on, it's our rules, and we're going to do it our way here. And so ISDs across the state are terrified of those two words, state takeover.
And you found out something, Cole, here, that there are a number of smaller school districts that are doing something with these struggling campuses, but still maintaining control.
Something very unusual, Jason. They're outsourcing some of their failing schools. So they're taking the schools that have 3 or 4 years of failing accountability scores from the TEA.
So they haven't hit that 5-year mark.
So they haven't hit the 5-year mark, but they're staring it down. And they say, instead of us, our ISD, running this school, we're going to pay millions for a third party to come in and take over this campus.
Because it keeps the state from coming in and taking over and basically jettisoning the leadership there at the ISD.
So they're saving their own jobs, I guess, huh?
Correct.
That's part of the benefit they see it as. They say there's not a state takeover. They get to keep the superintendent and the board get to keep their jobs.
And so they have some limited control?
So they still have the building, and there's still students who are enrolled in the district, but the third party brings in their own teachers, they bring in their own curriculum, they change the length of the school day in some cases, they extend the school year in some cases, so they make dramatic changes within the school.
But the benefit to the district is that, like you said, they get to keep their jobs and their administration, and basically they can still oversee all the other schools in the district. It's just that one school that the outsourcing company comes into and takes over.
Exactly, and in exchange for outsourcing, the TEA gives them a 2-year reprieve from state takeover. Okay. So the clock stops on the accountability measurement, and they get a 2-year break from those two words they're so scared of, state takeover.
But this costs a lot of money.
Yes, millions of dollars.
You had done a piece on this, and you spoke with the folks in Witchita Falls, and they did this at a school there, and I was looking at the cost on that, and it was one school. They decided to sign a 3-year contract with an outside vendor to come in and let it out, and they were going to pay them $375,000 per month.
Yes. So
that's a lot of money.
It adds up to millions of dollars a year. Wichita Falls did this with one of their middle schools. They have since signed a contract for 2 elementary schools at roughly the same rate. So they're putting more than $1 million a month to a third-party operator so that they can avoid this TEA takeover.
Let's talk about the third-party operator, because that's what's fascinating here too, is this company. For the 6 or 7 districts, or 5, I think you reported on that.
It's a little over half a dozen districts so far.
They're all using the same?
Not
company?
all using the same, but there's one that has kind of risen to the top in this landscape.
And it's from Colorado.
It's a Colorado-based nonprofit called Third Future Schools, but it's got Texas ties.
Yeah, tell us about those, because a lot of folks will likely know this name.
So the founder and former CEO of Third Future Schools is former Dallas ISD superintendent, current Houston ISD superintendent, Mike Miles.
So important to note here that Mike Miles was the one who the TEA tapped to go in and take over for the state, to take over Houston schools. Used to be, as you said, at Dallas ISD. When he left Dallas ISD years ago, that's when he went and created this nonprofit, and it's called Third Future Schools. And how does this work? So Third Future Schools has become the dominant player in this market, hasn't it? I mean, and of course, it was founded by a guy who has some very strong ties and high up connections here in Texas.
And to the TEA specifically, it's become the dominant player. Many schools that are right now looking to partner with what's called a turnaround operator put out a request for proposals for someone to come in so they can outsource the school to them. They find that they only have one company, one group coming in to offer their services. It's Third Future Schools. There's not a lot of competition out there for this.